people wrong to call the death of the retail high street. The reaction to e-commerce and COVID was that many property experts and the media called time on the retail high street. My first concern was that my mother would continue what appeared her personal mission to maintain the future of the retail high street with greater vigour and expenditure in light of these announcements. So now, a few years on, did many of the experts get it wrong? The indications are that they did, yes. Many city and town centres have reinvented themselves, and we're even starting to see some rental growth in some retail high streets. The reason for this are various, but here are a few for you to consider. In the early days, voids were created on the retail high street due to the failure of long-established retailers like House of Fraser, Boots, Burton's, Dorothy Perkins, and the Arcadia Group as a whole. This created large areas of void shop units on high streets. But what happened is that other retailers came and let these premises at rebased Zone A levels that were south of historic rental levels achieved in those streets. Then, as a continuation of this natural process, other leases of shop units in the retail high street reached lease expiry. At the time of lease expiry, unlike rent reviews, rents can go down as well as they can go up. And the natural process of lease renewals has allowed retailers the opportunity to renegotiate revised lower rents than they were previously paying for their shop units by using the new Zone A levels created from the new world in retailing. And the landlords have been forced to accept this. In addition, town and city centres have now had time to adapt and contract, with peripheral located shop units defaulting to alternative uses like residential, religious or community uses. Furthermore, shoppers have found the dream they were sold of the e-commerce experience has not been all that it's been made out to be. There are genuinely encouraging signs on the retail high street as time has allowed them to evolve and adapt to the new world. Are all town and city centres the same? The answer to that is no. For example, the nationally renowned town of Ludlow is further behind the transition process than other towns and cities. This is due to localised factors. For many years, the town was protected from out-of-town development more than other towns and cities by a restrictive planning policy. However, recent years have seen the development of out-of-town, Sainsbury's and others. In addition, the town's retail economy was particularly reliant on the tourist industry, and the cost of living crisis has adversely affected it more than most. So the town of Ludlow is further behind in its new evolution, and there are more vacant retail units in the town centre than there has ever been. It will recover strongly, but have to go through the process detailed above of rebasing of Zone A rates and a degree of contraction of the town centre. What does this show? The importance of using a commercial property expert who understands localised trends in towns and city centres to give you the right property advice. Is the high street out of the woods yet? Not completely. There remains one major cloud hanging over the profitability of retailers, and that is the antiquated rating system. The current system means that rateable values that retail occupiers pay their current rates liability on remain based on the historic rental levels before e-commerce and COVID. This remains a matter that requires immediate attention from central government, as it is genuinely unfair. Have we called time on the retail high street? The simple answer to that is no. And in fact, the evolution of the town and city centre may actually mean they will come back stronger and more resilient, and the signs are genuinely encouraging. Sadly for me personally, my mother remains determined to continue her mission with her expenditure to single-handedly keep the retail high street going. At least she now seems to have more allies, which is more comforting. What does this mean for property investment in this property sector? This is where it gets generally really interesting. To me, retail remains undervalued in the investment sector, an area that property investors should consider as part of their future investment strategy. With all the media hype and property investor advice at the time of COVID and the development of e-commerce, investors in their mass left the retail high streets. So what has changed in my opinion? Well, as detailed above, of fundamental importance is rents. In a large number of cases in the retail high street, these have been rebased downwards, either because, as detailed above, vacant units have been relet in the new retail world, or alternatively, the natural process of the lease renewal procedure has facilitated the rebasing of Zone A rental levels. Zone A, for those who do not know, is the description that rents are assessed on the retail high street. So now investors will not be buying, in the main, over-rented property investments. In fact, there may be the prospect of long-term rental growth. In addition, the makeup of the tenant occupier or the covenant strength of the tenant has changed. No longer investors buying basket case retailers with a poor business modelling like the Arcadia Group. Instead, they're buying leaner retailer who have created their business models to meet the new retail world and provide a sustainable business model and profits to allow them to pay their rents. Do market activities support my early theories on retail as an attractive investment vehicle for investors going forward? Well, recent activity suggests I might be right. Property investors like LCP, Ensign Estates and Evolve have been noticeably active in the investment market in recent months, buying high street retail investments, and those property companies and investors who are very astute are often the leaders in establishing the right investment strategy. So this seems to support my theory that now is the time to act and buy. What will clearly be important is always to get professional property advice from a company that understands the property market. As detailed previously, nothing is all the same, and doing the legwork to understand the retail market in individual areas is vital. I hope these insights into the retail high street assist, and I believe we can all be happy that the retail high street is alive and breathing and fairly well.